So let's see here, this is the CNC machine. I have a few videos already for how to program it. We use easel a lot of the time to program it. Just a quick little reminder, if you're using easel, use my login info I gave to you guys in class. That just gives you all the bells and whistles and stuff like that, all right? Okay, so first thing we want to do is clamp it down. We're going to clamp it down in 3 different areas. I'm going to clamp it down maybe right here. You do want to make these fairly hard, fairly firm to clamp them down, just because you definitely do not want your wood to be moving at all while routing. We've had that before. It turns out very poor because when the wood moves, straight lines do not stay straight. So we're using this little spoil board, we're using this little wooden clamps. The other reason why we use wood clamps, you can see we've hit them before with a bit, and if you're using wooden clamps, it's really not that big, and I like it because I can just make my own instead of buying them. All right, putting all of them on, slide it out, and do clamp it down fairly well. Just use the tips. You don't have to have it too much lapping onto it, but just the tips are good to go. Give it a little wiggle. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. All right, so this cut, we do have a 1/8 inch bit already in it, which is great. I got 2 wrenches down here if you ever have to change your bits. Smaller wrench, obviously, it goes on the shaft. Larger wrench would go down here, and I'd spread them to undo it if we needed to undo it. Other popular bits, let's see if I can find them real quick. Other popular bits that students like to use quite a bit. We got this guy right here. That is a 60-degree V-bit. It does really good detail stuff. Excellent when making names and stuff like that. For a quick carve, this is a 1/4 inch down cut. It's just like the 1/8 inch. It's just twice as wide. It's all it is, okay? So let's see here. Next thing we have to do is go ahead and probe. We got our wood into the machine. We're gonna go ahead and probe it. So this little guy, you can see there's a little channel right in here. That fits nicely over the edge just like that, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing. This is the controller that we use. This right here will move it in the Y axis. This will move it in the X axis. This guy moves it in the Z, oop, I'm sorry about that. In the Z axis. Now I went too fast, sorry, no.
No, you're good.
This is high speed. If you want to go slower, hit this guy, even slower, hit this guy. And if you just want to crawl, you just hit the blue guy right there, okay? I'm gonna slow it down a little bit just so I don't stab his wood again. And what we're doing is we're bringing it over that little circle right there. We are not gonna stab into that circle. We're just going over the circle, and then we're just gonna magnetize that to the collar right there. All right, and then come down here. On the screen, we are going to hit probe XYZ, but before I do that, I do wanna make sure my units are in imperial, not in metric. Hit probe XYZ, it says attach the probe. Yep, we did that already. And then it's gonna say touch the block to the bit essentially. Do not use the controller and stab it down into there. All it's asking for is just move it just to touch it just like that, okay? So we moved it and we touched it, and you can see right here this green button, continue, came up. Now, what it's gonna do, I did miss the little thing because I was hitting the ore mask a little bit. We're gonna check it out, see if it works. I'm gonna hit continue. It's gonna touch off twice on the top of that block, twice on the right hand side of the block, and twice on the left hand. So go ahead. Oops, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Diameter of the bit, it asks. Yep, 0.125 inches. That's 1/8 of an inch. Sorry about that. Now it's gonna go ahead, and hopefully I'm close enough to the middle of that circle, or to that circle. Could have done a much better job of it, but we'll find out. Touched off once, touched off twice. Now it knows exactly where the surface of this piece of wood is. And now we're gonna come from the side, and we're gonna touch off once, and we're gonna touch off twice. Now this is, hopefully, yep, it's gonna do it. Comes from the top, touch off once, and touch off Cool. Alrighty. Now, next thing, go ahead, take your blocks, your XYZ probing block, take it all the way off the machine. Don't have the wires laid over the rail, because if this came too far forward, it could pinch those wires and break those wires, and then we have to buy a new one. That's a bummer. All right. So it says done. I'm going to hit done. And you can tell it's perfect because it lined up exactly over the corner of that piece of wood. So we know that we are ready to go. Next thing we have to do is go ahead and load the file. So I'm going to go down here. We're going to hit file. Okay, you can see that's a different file in there. Oh, we didn't put it in yet. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take it and we're going to put it into one of these USB ports in the back. And I always do it the wrong way the first time. That's all right. Cool. Now I'm going to hit file, and I name all my flash drives just by the color. So I'm just going to hit teal. And do you remember what this one's called?
Rosewood plaque.
Rosewood plaque. Yep. Have it highlighted, hit open. It's going to take a moment. It's going to process through, figure everything out, say, yep, can I do it or can I not? Cool. While that's going on, controller, please do not leave my controller on the waste board, because I never wanted to get this thing CNC'd by itself. Put it on top of the machine itself. Looks like it loaded. Now the next thing you do want to check is make sure all of this is green. If all of this is green, that means you're good to go. If some of these guys are yellow, that means the machine is saying, hey, I can't reach that, I can't get to that. You're too low, you're too far to the right, something like that, okay? So let's see here, double check, we got that on. One thing we have to do, and I have messed this up before, you do have to turn on the router right here, and it's gonna get loud as soon as you turn on the router. I've done it before where I've hit play without turning on the router, and it just stabs into the wood and it breaks the bit. So, turn that on, it's gonna get loud. Come down here, hit play. And you can just watch it. And we'll just let it go and it'll just do its thing. If you want to see what percentage is left, you can go right there. And you can see we're not even 1% into this one. So we'll let it do its thing. Thank you very much. Hopefully that helps.